This is Quadron Lounge, the auto show out of my living room. Today should be a little bit of an interesting day. I'm gonna try to change the clutch in my MIATA. I just quit a crappy dead-end job, so you know what that means. Time to take my YouTube seriously for about 3 days.
Ooh, unboxing. So we have, ooh, this looks like a nice clutch. I ordered a eBay clutch because I am poor, and here we go. Yep. Clutch Max, a little eBay brand. The throw out bearing, nice. Looks like we have the alignment tool and the pilot bearing there, so that's cool. I don't have a pilot bearing tool, but we're gonna have to figure that out. Maybe rent one. Ooh, beautiful little pressure plate. That's gonna look nice. I actually had the clutch done by the Mazda dealership after buying the car, but yeah, it's slipping. It's Slip City in there. And this is supposed to be a lightweight flywheel. Doesn't feel very lightweight to me. That's gonna give me a workout. But maybe we'll weigh the old one to see if this one is really that much lighter. Hopefully the car will be peppy and spin up.
I'm supposed to have my buddy Josh coming over to help me out in taking, some of the parts apart, and really just for emotional support. I feel like when you just look at a clutch job as a whole, it can be super duper overwhelming, but I am now an expert because I've watched about 3 YouTube videos. So it's broken it down to, disconnect the battery, remove the exhaust, remove the interior and the shifter assembly, remove the drive shaft, remove the transmission, safely get it down, clean the out of everything, replace components, lube it, and install it. Part of me is like, oh, no big deal. I'm pretty mechanically sound. This is gonna be a piece of cake. And the other part of me has realistic expectations and knows that this is probably gonna take a lot more time than I intended to.
You can get the biggest Chanel back in the store if you want it. I gave them the drill, they sucked it up, I got them on it. I bought a new Patek, I had the one, so I two-toned them. Taking these drugs, I'm gonna be up until the morning. That ain't your car, you just a lease, so you don't own it. If I'm in the club, I got that 5 when I'm performing. The back end just can't be in and out.
There she is.
Shit, they all on us. I'm from Atlanta where young niggas run shit. I know they hating on me, but I don't read comments. Whenever I tell her to come, she coming. Whenever it's smoke,
one of those new end of the world Jeff Bezos mobiles.
Look at that cute face.
this ain't no surprise. Every other night another movie get made. Every other night another dollar get made. Every other night started with a good day. I feel like a child, I got boogers in the face. I'm dancing in the dollar, this shit is a parade. I don't want your train, I'll go on and not a slave. I had that Jordan, not too many bitches getting saved. See this nigga rush me, so I took a private plane. You pussy nigga like him, I'm working on my aim. Drip too hard to the car, to the center, to the ground, like a balance better name. Drip too hard, pushing on the floor, you gon' fuck around and jump down, ride a nigga way. Drip too hard, don't stand too close, you gon' fuck around and drown. Off this way, doing all these shows. I've been on the road, I don't care where I go, long as I get paid. Bad little body, she been on my mind. Soon as I get back, she get straight. Do this all the time, this ain't no surprise. Every other night another movie get made. Drip too hard, don't stand too close, you gon' fuck around and drown. Off this way, doing all these shows. I've been on the road, I don't care where I go, long as I get paid.
Now she's up in the air. I got a 3-ton jack at each corner, and this car doesn't even weigh 2 tons, so that's pretty cool. We're gonna do the push test because I don't want this thing falling on me. We're on our way to pick up Josh for some muscle and some moral support. Ooh, ice felt on MIATA. The cutie right there. Look at that cutie. Look at that cutie. Look at that cutie. Look at that cutie. Misery loves company, so while we're doing the clutch job, I got Jacques here in the garage. He's got a really big boner going on right now. And my boy Josh, who's going to help me make sure I don't fuck things up completely.
And give this dog more boners.
Oh yes. Alright, so I've convinced Josh to be my bolt slave. Super bright light under here. Got a yoga mat.
It's not even attached to the tranny.
We have to drop out the exhaust and the
I know, but like
That
this is
one
just here to
come out.
protect it.
yeah, it's just protection. And it's for rigidity.
Got you.
To keep it stiff, bro.
This little like cross member bolt, not all of them loose. And then this is bent for whatever reason over the latch, so you can't unscrew it.
It's the little things.
That's some good metal.
Yeah, it's not bad. We're back from AutoZone. We got the fucking pilot bearing puller.
The auto
We got
zone
some.
Reese's.
We got the Reese's on deck. The water. If we check under here, I got the Modelo on deck. I got the Pokemon on deck. Yeah, right. The exhaust is out. We're about to take out the power plant frame and the drive shaft and keep things sexy. That's what we're gonna do. How are we feeling, Josh?
Great.
I'm about to do the last bolt, and I'm glad it's not on top. It's backwards, which is good. I just noticed it's like very accessible and not a pain in the ass, so that makes me a happy man. We've reached an awkward point where all the bolts are out of the trans, but it still doesn't want to come apart. So part 2 coming later. We're gonna call it a night. What's up, YouTube? I was retarded and didn't look at like an actual service guide and just like, yeah, I thought there was 10 bolts on the bell housing. There's 12, but the trans is out, and let's check it out. I'm not sure if you guys noticed, I also shaved since last night. I'm a new man, basically. Got some delicious gear oil. This is the grossest bell housing I've seen in a very long time. And truthfully, I don't think they replaced this clutch at all when it went to Mazda, you know, but it's okay. Everything's getting replaced today, baby. Does this look like a pressure plate that was changed less than 20,000 miles ago? I personally don't think so, but you know, whatevs. I was curious about how much lighter the lightweight flywheel is than the one that comes from the factory. So this is a factory one. It's 16 pounds 4 ounces. This lightweight flywheel is 11 pounds 4 ounces, so it's 5 pounds less. That's pretty substantial, actually. So day 2, no YouTube magic, no bull. Here is the lightweight flywheel. I got the bolts. Everybody says get new bolts, but I hate YOLO. I'm not pushing any extra power through this bar, so this will be okay. We're still gonna thread lock and all that jazz. Got the new rear main seal. Just this whole area around was leaking a whole bunch, and I noticed that some oil was ending up on the back of the flywheel, and then probably on my clutch too, which is probably why I was getting 3rd and 4th gear just spin. Next up, flywheel's going in. Me neither, but tranny's clean. Got that smooth pivot action going on here. It's literally locked. Oh, JK.
Oh, this nipple.
Yeah, it's like more like a real nipple.
No, it's like really soft.
Yeah, exactly, like a real... Welcome to day 4 of my clutch job. I've made a grave mistake. So essentially when I pulled off the flywheel, I noticed there was like a little bit of oil in the middle around where the flywheel bolts up to the rest of the engine. And I was like, all right, probably like a rear main seal, because there's not supposed to be oil there. Sure enough, the rear main seal was leaking in the middle. So went and got a new one. I noticed on the old one there was a little bit of gasket. And I noticed on YouTube there's not like any tutorials on how to do a rear main seal on a 3rd gen Miata. So just want to give you guys some tips and tricks, because I threw my new flywheel on, I threw my new clutch and pressure plate on, and then after all that I realized that it was starting to drip down after I'd thread locked everything and all that stuff. So I don't know if any of you guys have kids, but I have kids, and yeah, this has turned into like a 4-day thing just because I made a mistake. So let me show you how to not make the same mistake that I made. So here we are, right behind the engine. The flywheel and everything's off, and the rear main seal is off as well. So obviously I don't have access to the service guide, but I noticed after taking it apart again, after I threw it together the first time, that there is a little itty bitty channel right here that when you take the factory one off, it's full of sealant, and I thought it was just like a split between two different metals in the block, but I just spent like 20 minutes, that little groove that goes around and connects on the other side. You have to fill the sealant basically from the white line all the way into that little ditch to make sure that the seals, otherwise you're just gonna have a whole bunch of oil, you can see it right here, leaking into your NC's transmission, and it's only a matter of time before that just screws up your clutch again, and then you have to do a new clutch job. So to go ahead and prep the sealant surface on the oh my god, on the you know, that thing, the rear main seal, I'm gonna use some isopropyl alcohol and just go all over this groove. Just wanna make sure there's no oil in this groove. Just really make sure the sealant can really be at home in there whenever we put the sealant in. So this is kind of what it should look like on the rear main on the NC. Whenever you get it all in, just make sure that like the sealant is touching the interior sealant that comes from the factory. And then we can start bolting this thing back up. So yeah, just make sure it's pretty thick in there and coats the whole thing. Otherwise, you're gonna be on a trip to Leak City like me. So there's the rear main seal back on. You can hear my baby girl in the background crying a little bit, but really just make sure you go all the way under and just really coat the bottom and the sides kind of like this. Make sure it's all continuous and no holes. That's where I screwed up last time, is I didn't make sure there was no holes in the sealant. So yeah, just make sure it's real nice, smooth, especially along the bottom, and you should be good to go. Boom. Stage 1 clutch, now torqued to spec and installed. No more leaky. I'm a happy boy. Time to grab my neighbor Dave and throw the trans in. Power plant frame going back in. 113 foot-pound torque spec rating on this thing, so don't under tighten it. Alright YouTube, so all the parts are back inside the sports car, and we're waiting till tomorrow to put the oil in because this is my second time doing the rear main seal, and we're gonna actually follow the instructions. So all we gotta do is tomorrow lower this biatch down and put the oil in and start her up. I'm really excited for this lightweight flywheel, should be really good. But basically a few tips and tricks if you're gonna be doing a clutch and stuff on your Miata. Have a second hand, have somebody to help you out. Definitely invest in something like this that you can throw on top of your floor jack if you don't have like a lift. I'm not a rich person, but so you can get the transmission back lined up into the car. This transmission has to be like perfectly straight to go back in, and then it's easy. And then the splines, when you're putting the transmission back in, just go ahead and twist the drive shaft back and forth without connecting it to the differential, and it'll help you get the trans connected to the rest of the engine easier. It's very finicky. But tomorrow will be my startup and drive and first impressions. All right, my goons, it's time to put this thing back on the ground, put the oil back in it, and hopefully it runs. Fingers crossed. We're gonna give it a second till it comes alive. well, guys. The MIATA is not broken, which is pretty cool. It definitely moves. The clutch is definitely a little bit grabbier, so I'm gonna have to get used to that. But let's go on a drive and I'll just tell you how it feels in motion. And just so you know, you can do it in your garage. It is a little bit painstaking and you're gonna bust your knuckles up a little bit, but hey, that's the enthusiast culture, right? Alright guys, so new clutch is in, even though it took me like way longer than it should have. And we're cruising around Clearwater Beach to kind of like bed the clutch, you know. And it feels very heavy, definitely a little bit more effort to get the car off the line. But the stage 1 clutch is awesome, and it feels like there's more linearity in the throttle. Like whenever you put your foot down, especially at like a low RPM, there's less resistance and the car gets going a little bit faster. So definitely recommend the eBay clutch. Maybe if you're better at driving stick, if you have more experience, it would be something that's good. But if you're not super experienced with driving clutch, then maybe you're driving stick, then maybe just like keep it stock for a little bit and then consider this later down the road. But for the more experienced, you know, manual driver, definitely a good choice. And I'm happy with it. So thank you for watching Quad Run Lounge. You guys have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.